something is going wrong in your business or in your life or anything, the first thing you should think is, it's my fault. So if I've got a bad member of staff, well, I employed them, so it's my fault.
Yeah.
Do you know, things like that? It's about being accountable and then controlling what can you control to make that situation better. It just felt like a big jolt because I was doing well and there wasn't any real reason given. Like I said, I can't talk too much about it, but it felt like if you can get sacked after performing at that level, then it's a very sad existence, to be honest. And then you should, again, be accountable and say, okay, if I want that lifestyle, what have I got to do to get that lifestyle? Because you make your own luck, you make your own fortune. But then I think that was the turning point. If money is your ultimate goal, what are you going to do when you get that money? It's like when...
Hello and welcome to the Diaries of Success podcast. In this episode, we're going to talk a little bit more about money. We've spoken about it before, and because this was a very, very important topic, we brought today one of the mortgage advisors in the UK, and he's been very, very successful. He's been nominated amongst the biggest companies out there. So without any further ado, I'm happy and honored to be having with me Shaz from Where's Shaz?
Where's Shaz? Thanks for having me. I'm really honored to be here. It's amazing.
Thank you so much, Shaz, for coming and sharing your knowledge and expertise with us.
No
So tell us, who's Shaz?
Who's Shaz? So I am a mortgage broker. I've been in the industry now for 10 years nearly now, quite a long time. I was employed with corporate companies, so Barclays and Lloyds.
Wow.
Been made redundant twice.
Ooh.
Then I started getting into the commercial sector, working with investors. And I set my own brokerage in August in 2022. And like you said, we've just been nominated for an award, which is amazing. So my kind of passion is to help serve people and just sort their finances out.
That shows how big you're getting and how well you're exercising.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you said, so you started in literally less than a year ago?
Yeah.
Wow.
Literally less than a year ago, and then Liz Truss came to power. So the business went a little bit topsy-turvy, but it wasn't the worst thing that happened. I think it showed that you've got to have an active pipeline to keep through.
So how is a normal day looks like?
A normal day, you know what? My work-life balance is exactly where I want it to be. So I get up at 7. I wake up at 7 without an alarm. It just happens. I'm in the office by 7:30.
Wow.
But because I'm there that early, I get so much done in the hour and a half that everyone else is sleeping. I get to leave by 2:30, 3 o'clock. So I go to the gym, then go back home, keep my eye on my emails.
Amazing.
And that's my average day. But with regards to the Where's Shaz thing, I've got a lot of events and networking things that I do. So I was travelling to Birmingham or London. So I'm on the road a fair bit as well.
So that's a little bit of what you do. So you're a little bit internationally, because I know you're based in Wales.
Yeah.
You're based in Wales, right? So, but you're doing the back and forth to different cities in England.
Yeah.
Now, what is it that you do exactly? So what are the services you're providing?
Sure.
How do you help people? Because I would need those services definitely, personally. So everyone who is in property, isn't it?
Well, unless you're doing rent-to-rent or deal sourcing. But yeah, so if you're looking to buy a property for investment use, buy-to-let, commercial, SA, HMO, anything like that, unless you're buying it in cash, which is great, you're probably not. You need to go to a bank or a lender. So someone would speak to me as a broker. I would look at their circumstances. I would look at the field of lenders, see what suits, and then recommend and arrange the finance.
Right. So how important is someone's credit history, credit file, for them to get or to be able to get something from the government? It's
important, but it's not the end of the world. I think what's important is understanding what's on there. So a lot of people who think they've got bad credit it's not as bad as they think. But then some people who think they've got amazing credit have things on there that's going to cause problems. So it's a case of, let's see what's on your credit file.
Yeah.
I think CCJs come up a lot. If there's like unpaid parking tickets, right, just pay the 35 quid and deal with it afterwards. If you don't pay it, that causes you more issues.
Really?
Yeah, because it's so easy in this country to put a CCJ on your record without you even knowing. And then suddenly you can't get mortgages. So yeah, credit files are important, but bad credit is subjective, define bad, I guess.
Do you get a lot of people who have difficulties to come to you and ask for support and help and how they can?
What, with credit? I think most of the investors, and this is why I use my Instagram and social media to kind of educate, they understand the importance of checking and to get their stuff in order before they even come and approach me. Right.
So who is your typical client?
So I would say kind of clients I get are obviously property investors. They've potentially done a course through, say, PIN or PPN or whoever. and now they're looking to buy property. They're quite newbies. I think I do deal with a lot of newer investors. And again, potentially that's because of social media, that's because of the content I produce. But then I've got kind of 3 or 4 or 5 bigger investors who are not on social media, have the bigger deals that keep coming through regularly as well.
How did you get into it?
By chance. So when I was working for Lloyds Bank, when I was like mid-20s, 25, 26 probably, that was just in a call centre, and customer service, what's my balance? It's X amount. That's literally what it was, with a bit of sales. And I was good at that job. I was probably the second best salesperson in
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm very modest. Second best, wasn't the best. I was second best. But I was happy. I think looking back, and this is where hindsight helps, I was happy, but it was a mundane kind of reality in sense of do your 9 to 5, go home, go back in again. There's nothing exciting. But I've always been pretty creative, so they would always give me little tasks and projects and kind of things. Say, do this for 6 months, keep you happy. But then an opportunity came. So Barclays were offering to pay for your mortgage qualifications, which is called CMAP. So to be a mortgage broker, you have to have the qualification. So I was like, I could do this, get qualified, and actually the earning potential is better. So I did it. Barclays paid for my CMAP, started advising in their call centre as well. But again, it was a call centre, so there was none of my personality. It was just people coming through on the phones, churning business, wouldn't see them again, and off you go. They made us redundant as well. So
in Barclays?
In Barclays. Now, annoyingly, the jobs weren't taken to India. They were taken to Liverpool as well. They weren't even taken offshore. So got made redundant. And at that time, I didn't feel anything. Like I didn't feel like it was the end of the world.
Yeah.
We had 6 months gardening leave, 6 months to do whatever you want and still get paid for it, and your redundancy money. And I was still pretty young, I thought. So whilst a lot of people were panicking, like, what are we going to do? I was like, look, just chill for a while. I don't think I went on holiday for a month in between. What I did do as a side hustle, which kind of became a bit of a headache, is I set up a gourmet burger restaurant in South Wales as well.
Okay.
So that was me, my brother-in-law and his business partner. But because I had no job, I was the working partner. I was there.
Like the typical business.
Yeah, but it was, bricks and mortar. It was a restaurant. I was there every day because that was the agreement. So nothing wrong with that. But also after about 4 months, I then got a job as a mortgage broker for specialist finance with investors locally as well. And something just wasn't right because I would spend all my day in the office, 9 to 5, doing mortgages. I'd then come and go to the restaurant. I would never see anyone. I wouldn't see my family. I had no social life. And I was like, this just isn't working. It's not about the money. It's about time balance.
Yeah.
So after a while, I sold back my share of the burger business back to my family. So I'm not doing this anymore. I got sacked from that mortgage company, that mortgage job.
Wow.
Can't go into it, tribunal and all this kind of stuff. But then I think that was the turning point. I think that made me realise, you can't rely on a job. You are just a person and it's a numbers thing. And when they say it's not personal, it's business, that works in a good and bad way. It is just business. You're just a number. So I kind of thought I'm not going to be that again for anyone. So I became self-employed for mortgages myself with a company. And then in August, natural progression, I set my own firm. With that, it took a while for me to do it and make the jump because I didn't want to leave on bad terms with the company I was with, because that guy who was there, his name was Morgan, I feel he mentored me a lot and developed me.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to leave him in the lurch. So I kind of did it the right way. I made sure he knew my plans, gave him the chance to say, look, can we work something out together?
Yeah.
And I've left on really good terms. So, and I think that's something I'm quite proud of as well.
There was a lot of things that you shared there. Let's go back to when you were in the call center.
Yeah.
And you mentioned sales.
Yes.
How important sales in everything that we do?
100% important. I think sales is probably the best skill to have or to learn, because if you can't sell, you're not making money. Whether that's making money for someone else or for yourself, I think sales is one of the best skills. And realistically, in any job, if it's not a direct sales job, there's still some element of selling, whether you're selling kind of your personality or a product or the business. I definitely think sales is the one skill everyone should learn.
Has it helped you in what you're doing right now, being
100%.
independent?
100%. So, when I go to networking events and I'm meeting people, although I'm not there giving out my business cards or anything, it's still a sales type environment. You're still speaking to people, charming them, having fun with them, and you are selling your business or yourself or your personality.
Yeah.
I can't say, more enough that sales is the skill to have.
Now let's go back to networking.
Yes.
You just mentioned that. One of your favorite topics, isn't
Where's
it?
Shaz? That's where that came from, yeah.
Is it?
Because when I became self-employed, for the first 6 months to get my name out there, I was at every event. I think I would be at 5 events in a week, so everyone would joke, where's Shaz, where's Shaz? So I thought, let's just make that my Instagram.
I like that.
Yeah.
It has this, like a story to it.
Yeah.
Now I understand. I never really thought.
Okay.
I never asked you.
No.
Where's Shaz?
Everywhere. And that's the answer.
Tonight we have an event. There is no need to ask.
I'm there. I'm sponsoring.
Oh, you are? Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We're going to come back to that one.
Sure.
You also spoke about the fact you've been made redundant the first time.
Yeah.
And then you were sacked. Has that affected your life, especially that you had that little business on the side, and it's only being sacked only came after you left you sold your share to your family.
So I think when I got made redundant, I'll be honest again, it wasn't a big deal for me. I'd find another job. I knew I had the skills to get another job, but when I got sacked, it just felt like a big jolt because I was doing well and there wasn't any real reason given. Like I can't talk too much about it, but it felt like if you can get sacked after performing at that level, then that those relationships you build mean nothing.
Sure.
But hopefully it means I'm a better boss to my employees and my staff because I wouldn't be sacking them like that. And it just made me hungrier to prove myself. I think I have very few chips on my shoulder, but I think getting sacked and trying to prove that person wrong is definitely one of them.
Thank you for sharing that. And it's we don't want to talk more into details about it, but you know how you had the business?
Yes.
How now, because you no longer have the job and you also no longer have the share in the business, did you feel lost? Did you feel like you were by yourself, or did you like, oh, you know what, I can do it?
I'm a very practical person, so all I remember was when it happened, I was in the car park and I was calling the few people that I would call to say that this has happened, what do you think I should do? And I think I was probably in the dumps for maybe 2-3 days and then back on it. So I don't let, like I said, I'm practical, so you don't dwell on it. If you control what you can control, and what I can control is getting another start somewhere else and cracking on.
You said something very important now. You sat in your car and you called a few people and asked them what you actually should do. This is something that most people don't do. Don't reach out for help. Don't ask that. They don't look at who's surrounding them, who knows what they actually, could advise, and then reach out for that help. That's really, really important in any business and in any sector, in any industry. Reach out to people who are around you. How was that of a support?
It was great. I think luckily, everyone was supportive and actually had practical, actionable advice. I think the biggest thing from sacking was, and maybe this is a cultural thing, is it was the embarrassment and the shame of being sacked. Like, would I go home and say to my mum, I've been sacked from my job? Like, that was also a lot part of it. Having said that, my parents are great, but yeah.
And now that you're successful, we love to see what you're doing, and I am learning quite a lot from you. I literally just recently started going and exploring different strategies. Was too much into rent to rent and service accommodation, HMOs, but now I'm into buying, refurbishing, refinancing, reselling, and all that. So in terms of what you're doing on a daily basis, why did you get into mortgage advising and being a broker rather than invest in property yourself?
A couple of reasons. I think one of them is my risk appetite. So the risk in investing a big chunk of money into a project or a property is definitely a lot more than filling a function of arranging the finance. So for me, from a risk perspective, I'm taking on less risk. I think that's one of the key reasons.
Can you explain what
type
of
so
risk?
For example, if you're investing, you're putting in 25, 30, 50 grand's worth of cash into a property, then you're going to get builders in, strip it back, bare to brick, then add value, then hope that the surveyor comes in and values it higher when you refinance. For me, I think personally, I wouldn't want to take that risk on the lump of money and that timeline as well.
Yeah.
So being someone who provides a service within that, so you've got your property business, you essentially would treat me as your finance arm of your business. Yeah. So for me, serving that function fulfills my kind of needs really better than risking it on a big chunk of money in a project.
But your clients are the ones who are
Yeah.
doing the risk.
But they just trusted me to arrange the finance, that's all.
Nice. What's the difference between mortgage broker and a mortgage advisor?
It's a lot of it is terminology, but essentially, I think generally an advisor tends to work for one lender or one bank, so they can advise on that small range of products. Whereas a broker tends to have just everyone, they'll advise on everyone else.
Oh, that's interesting. I actually, I'm learning throughout this podcast, and a lot of people are so as well, in our audience. So why did you choose to just be with everyone? Because,
again, when I was at Barclays, it's a thing. So if you approached Barclays for a mortgage, it never, ever are they going to turn around and say to you, look, this is what we can offer you, but, Lloyds will offer you a better rate.
Oh, yeah.
Do you want to go to Lloyds? So there's no competitive advantage to being advising on just one lender.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a way you can build a business around that. So, being a broker, which is, I hate this term, whole of market. I hate that term. Whole of market is something you can build a business around because you are serving that need fully.
Beautiful. And I know you don't do just that.
Yes.
You also mentor people. You also speak. You're a public speaker. You go on stages. Probably going to be
international.
Internationally. I like that. We're gonna talk about that. How do you feel when you're actually sharing your knowledge and expertise with others? You're speaking on other people's stages. You're going to soon speak on my stages. I know you don't know, but I'm telling you. So how do you feel when you're there sharing your knowledge?
I'm not uncomfortable speaking on stage as long as I know what I'm talking about, i.e. finance.
Really?
But if someone says to me, speak about yourself.
Actually, don't look at, from what we see on social media, you don't look like you're someone who was uncomfortable.
I don't like talking about myself. That's the only thing. Or talking directly into camera. So, again, if you look at my social media, there's been a subtle change over the last few months where previously any videos I did would be just like this, having a conversation.
Right.
But talking directly into camera would be the worst thing in the world.
Fair enough.
But then there's a guy called Aaron Branch, based in the Midlands. He's got a social media company.
Yeah. I know Aaron. I love Aaron.
Yeah. So he's a great speaker and he's a great kind of guy and he knows what he's doing. So I attended one of his, they called it a power speaker training day.
Cool.
And it was really helpful. So it helped me figure out how to talk into camera without looking like an absolute idiot. But what it also helped me was to figure out my story that I could talk about without feeling like an imposter.
Yeah.
Because there's some things you don't want to share. There's some things you want to share. How do you tie that in with things that people can relate with? He really helped me figure that out as well.
That's beautiful. So mentoring, you understand that if I just rephrase what you're saying, getting the support and help from someone who's done it already is very crucial. Now you going on stages and you sharing your knowledge, what's the? I'm sure you're having a lot of impact, but what do you see the future is going?
I think
for you.
For me, I think my strategy, if I have a strategy, is it's always been a case of doing all strategies at once. So I know like property investors, they say have multiple streams of income, sourcing, rent to rent, everything. So from a business perspective or speaking perspective, for me, networking, so 10 networking events, physical and virtual.
A month or?
I tend to go, every month, every month I'll say I'm going to go to less events, going to be more selective, right? I say it every time. Then someone invites me. Someone invites me, I have to go. And then I end up going to 3 or 4 a month, which is not a lot, but just in London. I'm in Wales, so it's a 2-hour journey, half a day.
You're international.
International, day at the office, it's a lot. So I always say I'm going to be more selective, but it never happens because I'm in demand, hey.
I like that.
But doing networking, virtual and physical. Social media, I think I'm not big on relying only on social media for your business because if tomorrow Instagram closes your account, you're screwed. What are you going to do? If that is your only source of leads or business,
that's true, yeah.
Don't rely on the platform, right?
It's like don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Absolutely. But it's important to have it and it's important to have a presence, but just don't think that is your lead source. Referrals. I have been fortunate and blessed that a lot of my clients, and I can name them, so Tej Talks, Tej Thing, Charlotte Edwards.
The yellow Tej.
Yellow Tej, yeah. Charlotte with a pink hard hat.
Yeah.
Alfred Zadeh from the Midlands.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And a few others. So, these guys, they're big on social media, and I've been fortunate that they are because they refer people on to me.
Yeah. And they are your clients.
And they're my clients, so their
That's
word
beautiful.
stands for a lot for when they speak to other people.
Yeah.
So having all those avenues, I think is good to lead gen, and also public speaking. So if I am on stage speaking, that's also another way of generating business. Sponsoring events, so we're at Peak Performance tonight.
Yeah.
I'm sponsoring. So as a minimum, hopefully Aaron and Paul will give a little shout out at the start.
Yeah.
It all helps. I think I'm just keen on doing multifaceted ways of lead generation, not just I'm on Instagram. That's not a solid way of doing it.
Right. So do you think Instagram and social media is not that credible?
No, I think it's credible, but I think you shouldn't, like you say, eggs in all in one basket. If that account goes down tomorrow, can your business survive? And if the answer is no, you should really rethink your strategies.
So what's the alternative?
It's being everywhere at once. And that's why where's Shaz?
Where's Shaz?
Yeah, be omnipresent, be everywhere. People say to me, you're always on social media. I'm like, I'm actually not, but I get tagged in a lot of things, or I'll be reshared, or I'll be in other people's pictures, other people's posts. That's the place you want to be, where it seems like you're everywhere because you're at the right places.
Is it important to understand this game? Looks like a game to me.
It is a game. It's a game, of course, but I think it's important to be organic with it. Like, I try not to pressure I don't do
ads.
I don't do like a regular weekly thing. I don't want to have that pressure where I have to then, my schedule is dictated by social media. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I'll just post when I'm free. That works for me. It's less pressure. And actually, I think it comes across a lot more authentic and genuine as well.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of people who actually do schedule that.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of investors will have Wednesday wins. And I'm like, what if you have a win on a Monday? You're not going to share it till Wednesday. Like, it just doesn't,
Yeah. I'm just thinking about that now, because you might wait until Wednesday and just share.
But why though? You've had a win on a Monday. Share it when it happens.
Yeah, fair enough. But how about just being? So that means you're spontaneous as a person. But how about now scheduling your routine, or having your vision board, or knowing what you're going, or your team maybe? I don't know if you have a team with you. Yeah. How about scheduling everything?
Can I just say, I'm not spontaneous as a person at all.
Are you not?
Spontaneous is the last word anyone would use to describe me. How early did I get here?
Yes.
I got here half an hour early. I had a very spicy chicken burger at Buddy's down the road.
That you didn't like?
Any event I'm going to, I'll normally be there half an hour early. I'm unsocially early everywhere. I like things to be organised and prepared. Yeah. If I'm going for a meal with my friends, I want to know where the nearest car park is, where the nearest cash machine is, what time we're meeting. I'll be there 20 minutes early.
Really?
I'm not spontaneous in that way at all.
Do you know what? I'm completely opposite.
Oh, we will not get along.
To be honest, no. That's actually opposites attract.
However, being unspontaneous, or being rigid, I guess, it allows me to be good at my business, because it means I have that buffer. Yeah. That I can be really, really responsive to people. So because I'm half an hour early, I'm just sat there. If someone texts me or messages me or calls me, I can answer it and deal with it there and then.
Yeah.
So I always get told, oh, you're so quick. I'm like that with everyone. So because I allow myself the time, it's all built in. Yeah.
I actually do have a calendar. Of course, I have my things are scheduled.
Do time block stuff?
My team. Yes, we do. My team does it, because I'm not really good.
You're not good.
But they keep me going. I got people who are completely opposite to me, and they are good at what I'm not really good at.
So my assistant Jo, she's amazing. She's organised. I wouldn't have as much business or doing so consistent business without her being the backbone of it. Yeah.
But in terms where if someone asks me, oh, let's meet at this restaurant, for example, or actually literally a live example, we've had a team meeting just 2 days ago, and Cav sent us an email saying, this is where we're meeting. It's going to be 7:00. There is a parking space 2 minutes down from the restaurant, and so it's just the 2 minutes walking distance. I'm like, okay, I'm checking the restaurant. I'm going to the restaurant, and then I'll figure out my parking.
Do you check the menu before you go?
No.
I always check the menu.
You do?
I know what I'm ordering, but then when I get there, I'll act like I don't. I'll be like, oh, so what's everyone having?
Oh, that's too much. No, I don't.
Yeah.
To me, I'm getting there and then I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
So I went to the restaurant. Turns out there is a parking space literally outside the restaurant. You see?
Yeah. But this
And
is
that's
why
what
you're an
we do.
investor and I'm not. And this is why that works, isn't it?
That's true. Yeah, you
Yeah.
know, like different personalities.
Yeah.
Parked there, got in, everyone parked in the parking space. And they're like, oh, did you have to walk? No, just parked outside the restaurant.
They must hate you.
So, you see, so sometimes it actually works in my favor.
Yeah.
So glad I'm like this, but I'm working on myself and becoming more strategic and plan more and, you know, just do it. One of my things in 2023 is actually use my calendar.
Use your calendar. Okay.
I am using my calendar. So since the 1st of January, everything is literally into my calendar.
It has to be. How can you not? How can you live without a calendar?
I used to have everything in my head.
No, that's not good enough.
And I never was late. I know exactly what time I have things. I know
Yeah.
exactly which day it's going to be. If I have a boot camp, I don't even need to put it there. But I think it made me a little bit more organized, and it gave my head a little bit of rest. That I am using my calendar, so I don't have to remember it in my head because I know my phone is gonna remind me.
Okay.
So I think it's working. I'm thinking of
maybe I should work on the opposite and be a bit more loose and be spontaneous.
Yeah, try it.
I mean, one thing I do not do is I still don't say no to many things. So people do ask me to come to an event or speak or whatever. I'll never say no because again, it's free advertising and whatnot.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. And I like being out there, advertising and putting yourself visibility, right?
Visibility. That's it.
Yeah. And if the more people know you, the more people will know you exist, or the more people see you, just like Coca-Cola. It's everywhere.
It is, and I think like so you mentioned at the start that I've been nominated for an award, which is great. You know, since August we started, so it is actually a good achievement because all the other companies on that list have got like hundreds of employees and they're massive, so it's all good. And one thing I want to like kind of get across is, even if people don't do business with me, I have a lot of conversations which don't go anywhere because people are speaking to 10 different brokers.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Even those conversations are valuable because you learn how to better your approach and your delivery. So yeah, like having as many conversations as possible, many phone calls, many Zoom calls, it all helps. There's no reason to say no to anyone, I don't think.
And the way I see it as well, is when people see you everywhere, the day they will need you, they will know who to actually go to.
Sometimes I get text or phone calls or even emails from people saying, Shaz, I've got a really good memory. That's another one of my superpowers, is I've got a massively good memory.
Beautiful.
Especially networking events. I'll meet people. So, okay, at last, do you know Devinda?
Yeah.
So she had like this birthday thing.
Oh, yes.
And there's a lady
Spot the
there.
Dave.
Yeah. And there's a lady there and I knew her. From social media. We spoke like 7 months ago. She totally forgot me. But I was like, hey, I was like, I bought something up that we spoke about 7 months ago. And she's like, oh my God, you remembered? I was like, yeah, we spoke about this. So I think having a good memory is good because it shows you care. And yeah, being visible, being credible. People do forget quite easily. But sometimes, yeah, I'll get messages or calls and I'll look back on my list and it's like we spoke 12 months ago, but they still remembered me because they might have seen me on socials.
Yeah, like it's building that visibility and that credibility, and people know you are the go-to person. We'll get to how to get in touch with you because I know so many people who are watching us are into property and they would love to have that helping hand and support, someone who actually knows what they're talking about. Probably book a session myself.
Sure.
So, well, we have a ritual in our podcast.
Amazing.
We like to play a game.
Oh God.
And today, I think I chose the Would You Rather.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
So, let's start with a few questions. But before I do that, I want to remind our audience that we bring all the best of the guests. We don't bring someone who's actually have not failed, have not succeeded in business, in their area of expertise. So make sure you follow them. Make sure you, just reach out to them. Make sure you give us a subscribe. Ask them questions. If you have any questions, there is a comment section down below. Put all your questions and we'll make sure we get them answered for you. So let's play a game.
Let's go.
Prepared the list. It's right here. You have 2 seconds to...
I was going to say, it's a quick fire.
respond
Okay, it's
it.
quick fire. Right, okay.
Yeah, it's would you rather. You've got 2
Fine,
seconds.
Fine.
Straight away, yeah?
Okay.
So, we are going to elaborate a little bit on this
Fine.
after in the second half, okay? So, would you rather have a 5-minute deal or 5-year deal?
A 5-year deal.
5-year deal. Would you rather have 10 million in cash or restart when you were 6 years old, knowing everything you know now?
Restart.
At 6 years old?
Yeah.
Okay. Would you rather have 1 million followers or 1 million pound?
Oh, 1 million.
Both?
1 million followers.
1 million followers? Okay. Would you rather rap in public or fart in public?
I've done both.
You've done both?
Rap in public.
Really?
Yeah.
I'd rather fart in public.
Yeah, well, I'm backseat.
Actually, you know what? I'd rather rap in public.
Yeah, why not? Who's your favourite rapper?
Eminem.
Eminem?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Are you going to ask me?
Do you rap?
No, ask me what my favourite rapper is.
Oh.
Childish Gambino.
I don't know who that is.
Oh my God. I'll have to educate you on that.
I think there's so many things that we don't really...
Yeah.
We don't have a lot in common, do we? I like that.
Good.
So, would you rather have a consultation with Rishi Sunak for a year?
Okay.
Or with Gary Vee?
Gary Vee.
Though you look like a bit like
Rishi.
But you know what, actually? You're a mix of both.
What? No.
Gary Vee.
I get told when I was younger. I used to get told I used to look like Ben Stiller. I think it was the nose and the hair and the eyebrows.
Yes, I see
Yeah,
that,
and the whole
actually.
awkwardness, the old body language.
I see that in you, to be honest.
Great. It's not a compliment.
I haven't noticed it until you said it.
Now you
So
can't
it's good.
notice it. Yeah.
Right. Well, would you rather have a big share in Coca-Cola
Yeah.
or have your own drink, but it will only go viral after 10 years?
My own drink.
Your own drink. So you're a long-term
Yeah.
visionary.
Long time horizons. Yeah. Because either you can get rich quick, or,
Yeah.
or you can get rich for longer. You can't. Generally can't do both all the time. So.
Right. Interesting. So let's go back. At
Okay.
now
you can dissect my answers.
Not the farting. I think that was a good one. So 10 million in cash, you preferred to restart your life at 6 years old instead.
6 years. Yeah, I think through my youth, I've always been a hard worker, and I think I credit that to my parents, amazing. But I often think if I'd put that hard work in a different place or in the right place, I'd probably be a lot more. Maybe I'd have a business sooner. I'd be doing different things. I think definitely. So if I knew what I knew now at age 6, I'd be making different decisions.
Ah, interesting. I know a lot of people would probably just go with the 10 million pounds.
But the thing is, they probably wouldn't know what to do with it. They will just waste it all within a week.
Yeah. You said 5-minute deal. You said a 5-year deal.
I think similar to the other question, it's a case of longer term success versus a quick win. In regards to money, money comes and goes. I think people are way too focused on money itself. So you've got to look at how long do you want money for. Longer term is always better.
Are you more towards delayed gratification?
Yes, however, there has to be gratification at some point. That's the thing as well. You need some reward for yourself or for your family.
Yeah.
You can't just keep delaying it all the time.
True. You said 1 million followers.
That was a tough one. But again, 1 million followers because I believe we're all here to serve. That's kind of, I guess, my purpose. So with 1 million followers, you could serve 1 million people straight away. Again, with that much money, what are you going to do with it? It's a lot of money. It's life-changing, don't get me wrong.
Buy a few houses.
Buy a few houses, deal with tenants, deal with letting agents. No thanks.
You don't like that?
No. I've got 2 single lets in Wales in the valleys. I'm probably going to sell them ASAP. I just don't like the fact that my agent calls me every time there's an issue because that's what I pay them for. That's why I don't invest
In
in property. I've got stocks and shares and crypto and stuff, but
you don't like...
no.
Is
but
it because...
I understand. I understand property as a vehicle, but it's a long-term vehicle. TJ, who you've had on the show, he's like, look, if you're waiting 25 years to get something out of that, it just doesn't make sense.
So why don't you maybe try to be hands off? There's some
rent to SA and stuff. I think is a better strategy. Control, making money from controlling assets.
Yeah.
As opposed to owning an asset.
Does it not work in Wales?
Rent to SA? It does actually. There's a lot of it in where I live in Newport in South Wales.
Uh-huh.
A lot of that going on because a lot of contract workers from Bristol coming over.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Nice. But
I don't talk. I don't talk about my investments. So.
There's a lot of things you don't like to talk about.
Absolutely. I gave you that big list earlier, didn't I?
I'll try and dig. Don't worry, I'll find something. Well, you said you'd rather have your own drink because, again, it's delayed gratification.
Yeah. Plus, again, it's ownership of your own baby as opposed to someone else's, and it's a good question because I know people who have successful franchises of businesses where they've licensed something.
Yeah.
Versus when we set up our burger restaurant, that was an independent chain.
Yeah.
I did the branding, I did the menu. It's your thing. I'd rather do my thing than someone else's thing.
Is it still?
Yeah, it's still open, still there. I still get a free burger every now and then if I go in. But yeah.
just once a week.
Just once a week, twice a week.
And you said a consultation with Gary V.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm sure Rishi has got valuable nuggets to share. I'm sure everyone has. But I do resonate with Gary V in terms of it's not all about money, it's about being happy. Social media, forget what other people think. All those kind of things he's been talking about, I dig it. I think he's been accused of promoting hustle porn, as it were. Don't think that's the case. I think burnout is a real thing. You can overwork, but I think it's a choice. It's manageable, which might sound a bit harsh, but when you're doing too much and pushing yourself, you then have to choose to stop. So yeah, Gary V
definitely. Can you tell me why Gary V, as in the positive points you see in Gary V? We spoke about Rishi Sunak.
Yeah.
Gary V.
Yeah. So Gary V, so first of all, he preaches about happiness over money. Also lack of excuses. So if something is going wrong in your business or in your life or anything, the first thing you should think is it's my fault. So if I've got a bad member of staff, well, I employed them, so it's my fault.
Yeah.
Things like that. It's about being accountable and then controlling what can you control to make that situation better. You rarely see him talk about money and being motivated by money, and I'm the same. For me, money is important. Don't get me wrong, it is important, but it's not the be all and end all. As long as you're comfortable and you've got peace of mind and you can sleep at night, that's way more important.
I think what you said about, trying to victimize yourself or maybe trying to put the blame on someone else. There's something that I heard the other day, and it says before you point your finger at someone else, see that three fingers actually pointing at you. So it's very, very important that it's
being accountable. I think people are quick to blame others, but there's some element of you involved in that result as well, and just start with that first.
And now let's speak about money a little bit.
Go on.
Let's talk about it. I think money is important in a lot of people's lives.
It's the society we live in. Yeah, we have to buy things. It's important in that way.
But let's elaborate a little bit about how important money is.
Okay.
Because there's some people who say, money doesn't buy happiness. Money is a root of all evil.
Yeah. I don't think money buys happiness, but it definitely enables you to be happy. But it's how extreme do you want to be with the examples?
Yeah.
So if you are homeless or in the poverty line, of course money will make you happy because you then have what you need to get yourself out of the situation. But on the other hand, let's say if I use kind of Asians as an example, you're an extended family of 4 kids living with your parents, and you're a family unit. Is getting richer going to make you any happier? Probably not, because you're happy living. It is all relative and all subjective.
Yeah.
I definitely agree that money, because of the society we live in, we need money to buy things, to survive, to live, to eat, medicine, all of that.
Yeah.
But money shouldn't be the goal. It's what is the money enabling you to do, that should be the goal.
Right.
So, for example, if one of your drivers is travel, you want to go on 3 holidays a year with your family, and that's really what makes you happy.
Yeah.
That's what's important, not the money to get there.
That to be done with money.
Well, it'll get them money, of course, yeah.
But so why are people making it the ultimate goal, do you think?
I think part of it is society and also social media, in terms of if you can show you're living a certain lifestyle, people resonate with that. It's what do they call it? Status signaling. So I've got a Rolex, or I've got this. I'm in Dubai. I'm in the Burj Khalifa, whatever. But really, if you're fronting on social media to be more successful than you are, it's a very sad existence, to be honest.
So you're saying it's status? It's for status?
Status, of course, yeah. And if money is your ultimate goal, what are you going to do when you get that money? That is the thing. It's like when the example is when dogs are chasing a car. When they get to the car, they don't know what to do because they've got what they need. I think it's figuring out what are you going to do with the money. Yeah.
I've seen so many people hate on others who are successful just because someone has the money and they're living the lifestyle that they wanted to live, and just keep on writing really bad comments or hated.
You can tell when someone's aggressive. Yeah.
Do you think if they had the money, or if they had the knowledge that the other person does, they would be less aggressive? Or
I think part of that comes down to like self-hate and self-pity, really. That person X, why have they got this and I haven't? Why are they doing this and I'm not able to? And then you should again be accountable and say, okay, if I want that lifestyle, what have I got to do to get that lifestyle? Because you make your own luck, you make your own fortune. I don't think anyone is lucky. You get yourself in positions to then take the opportunities. So I think people are quick to judge and be hateful on others. Having said that, if we switch it around, the really, really wealthy people, they're not on social media. They don't need to be on social media.
Yeah.
So,
but most of them are.
I don't think they're really, really wealthy. They don't need to be, because what are they trying? They're not on for any purpose. They have their own businesses. All they do is sign letters all day.
Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
5 years. So I see the business growing, expanding the team. I've got a new broker starting this week. I don't want a massive team.
Yeah.
And that's good, because as a business, we're quite niche anyway. We work with property investors and that's it. So we don't do residential finance and things like that. So it's property investors. So you don't need a massive team. But I see the business growing, team growing as well. I've got a few other business interests happening.
Yeah. Do you want to share about that?
I talk about results, not progress. So when it's done, I'll maybe come back on. But and that as well. So I think content creation is important. So maybe moving into that space. Not necessarily me, but something that others can use to create content.
Do you think this should be a vertical where people actually come to a course to learn about how to know more about mortgages?
Yes and no. So maybe you could help me with this. So there's a lot of investors, successful investors, who are able to sell courses like this very easily, right?
Yeah.
But when and if a mortgage broker tries to have a course or sales, it's difficult because people, I think, prefer to pay for something that's not tangible.
Yeah.
There is no end outcome.
Yeah.
With a property investor course, you get given the knowledge.
Yeah.
With a content from a broker, they expect to have a mortgage on the back end, but they haven't got a deal. So I always find that monetizing something that a broker would do is definitely more difficult, I find, than a mindset from an investor type thing. What do you think?
I think it's equally as interesting. To some, it could be boring. To some, it could be less risky. To some, I think the personality of people would really, really play a big role in taking the decision here.
Yeah.
In my opinion, people who don't like to invest in property, they should do that.
Okay.
People who don't like to do that, they should invest in property.
Interesting, yeah.
Because, through this conversation we're having today, I'm learning a lot about my personality and other people's personality. And I see that there are different types. Like, how we say the spades, the hearts, it's literally like that. So I see it, someone who doesn't want to invest in property and they see, oh, I don't want to deal with tenants. I don't want to deal with headache of having my agent calling me. I don't want to be doing the viewings all the time.
Yeah.
I'd rather just go deal with one client. That's it. I've helped them.
If we flip it, you possibly couldn't deal with the finance side of things.
No, I wouldn't.
Do you know what I mean? So it's different skills.
And to be honest with you, I hate it.
Yeah.
I'm very good with numbers, but I just don't like to be doing that.
And that's why you have a professional just doing it.
Yeah. So this is why I'm saying, like, literally, I'm learning a lot about my personality. Rather, I'm like, oh, I've never. Because
you might be thinking, oh, why doesn't everyone invest? Because it makes sense. But some people don't have the skills or the mind to invest, and
the energy.
And for me,
the drive,
I don't like things that are hands off. So if I'm going to be investing in something, I want to be hands on. So I've tried it with property, and no thanks.
Yeah. In my head, I love to do the nitty gritty.
Right.
Just go there, meet the people, get their opinion about how we should do things, how we're going to style them, aesthetics, having the team of cleaners in, having the team of engineers in, doing the viewings. Even though I have a full team that does everything,
you still want to do it.
But I still like to be around there. I'm not doing it as much because obviously when you have 1, 2, 3, 5 properties, it's okay. But when you have 100+ properties, it's not possible.
It's not scalable, is it?
No, you can't be doing everything. So I do have a team that does it. But from every now and then, I like to be like, oh, you know what? Let me just take care of this project. We've had a property in Ilford.
Yeah.
A 2-bedroom flat with a garden, beautiful. The lady who stayed there, I actually shared the video on my Instagram.
Yeah.
The lady who stayed there for 5 years completely ruined it. Completely. And if you see the video, it's just horrible and unfortunate that someone actually was living in such conditions.
You can't believe it sometimes, can you?
No.
Yeah.
And after we've done the whole refurb, I was really surprised how it turned out. We had everything out. We chucked everything out and really done an amazing job.
So you enjoy that, whereas what I enjoy is if I've worked with someone, say for a year, and I've seen them grow from 0 to 10 properties, for me that's satisfaction.
Yeah. I think I'm more visual.
Okay.
It's nice to know.
Yeah.
So you this is how you see the business going in 5 years. Now, where do you see you?
Me, I see myself definitely growing my brand and presence. Like I've been using LinkedIn a lot for networking with people in my industry. So not necessarily trying to get clients, just people in the finance industry. And I think there's some changes that need to be made. So for example, everything's really London focused and it doesn't have to be. So I'm trying to champion that a little bit. Also,
we were talking earlier about the co-working space.
I mean, and London needs to be fixed in general. London is a mess. Like it takes an hour to get anywhere. Like it just doesn't make sense.
I agree with you.
So things like that. I think so. I'm kind of working on making things a bit more central. You know, Birmingham should be the hub, not London. I'm also big on. I've not said this before on any podcast, but
I love exclusivity.
One of my like undercover hidden agendas is definitely championing diversity. I think. I don't necessarily think we as in underrepresented or anything, but there's definitely a lack of education around personal finance, finance around property, what property can do for you. People in the community can be quite skeptical sometimes. It's too good to be true. No chance. There's definitely that piece. And also what I'm working on, and I will share this, is often a lot of us are having conversations online. Why don't I teach finance in schools and stuff? And I thought, hang on, I'm actually qualified to talk about this. I've got a CMAP. So I emailed my old high school. I was like, hey guys, this is me. I'd love to come in and give a seminar. So we're arranging that as well in my old school.
That's really nice. I think you should do that around the...
They have a budget apparently, so they said, "Oh, how much do you charge?" I was like, "Nothing." She's like, "Oh, really? Thank you for being so generous with your time." So that's something I'm working on. Let's do one, see how it goes.
Yeah, do the first one. Definitely, if you email probably half of the colleges in London, you'll just be fully booked for. TJ
said that the hardest part is then the follow-ups. Knowing that those students have actually embedded that knowledge. But
at least you would have given an impact to them, because TJ and I have spoken about this as well on the podcast, is where we're finding a lot of people teaching a subject that they're not really good in,
Yes.
right? Let's say business. If you go to business school, you have someone who's lecturing you about business who's never had a business in their life.
Yeah.
And I think that, okay, have you had a business? Have you run a business in your life? Have you done something?
What is your experience to teach?
Yeah. So why are you teaching me about business if you know nothing about it?
Yeah.
It just, you see,
it doesn't
the
make
irony?
sense. Yeah.
It literally doesn't make sense at all. And I'm glad I've never went to business school, because that would have been a waste of God knows how much. You know, a year is like 15 grand now. That would be like 50K alone just going for a business degree to learn how to do the numbers. No, I can outsource that if I'm not really good at doing numbers. I can get someone to do the numbers on my behalf, and I'll just run the business myself.
Yeah.
I'd rather get someone who's qualified to tell me about what I need to do rather than just...
I think that there's definitely a lot of practical life skills that aren't taught in, like in maths, they still teach trigonometry and stuff, and it's like we never use that in the real world. There's definitely disconnect between the real world and what they teach.
I think it should be more specific, like what you want to do, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
Rather than everyone studying the exact same thing.
Yeah. We got taught Welsh and French and Spanish compulsory till we were 15 or 16. It's like, why is French compulsory?
Do you speak Welsh?
Absolutely not, no.
Welsh?
I can say hello, which is Prynhawnda.
Well, that's a long word. Anything else?
Prynhawnda. That's about it. I'm not a fluent Welsh speaker.
That's okay. It's all right. You speak French, though?
Again, a little bit.
Oh, God.
Parlez-vous français?
Oui.
Oh, good.
It's my second language.
Oh, is it? Okay.
But I think maybe learning Welsh would be more interesting.
It'd be more difficult because Welsh is a dead language.
Ah.
There's no new words being made in Welsh.
Fair enough. Well, going back to business.
Yes.
When we're speaking about being taught in colleges, do you think it should be, how do we call it, just like maths and physics and?
So I think some level of business or economics. I think economics is something they should teach at school level to a compulsory GCSE level. Once you're at uni, you choose what path you really want to go down. I mean, not everyone has to go uni. I think that's another thing as well. But yeah, there should be some like you said, what do you want to do? Where do you want to end up? And let's work backwards from that. This is then the skills you have to have.
Yeah, because if you want to become a footballer, you don't need to learn all about history and literature. And
absolutely not. But what you would need to know about is personal finance, because as a footballer, your career lasts 15 years, maybe 20. That money should be saving, not just spending it all.
Yeah, so finance would work with literally any subject you want to go with, right? Oh, I'm loving this. Anything you want to share with our audience before we wrap up?
I think, and this is
really
advice I'd give to myself when I was younger, it's definitely to be more ambitious, and then with that ambition, take more risks. Like we said, I'm very risk averse for whatever reason. I've seen stuff like we've had business. My parents had a business, didn't go so well, so I've seen all of that, and maybe that's made me risk averse. But if I was more ambitious, I would use my work ethic towards a better kind of outcome, take more risks. And also, like, I don't want to jinx it, but I've not been wrong on many things. So, like, say I have an idea, or I say I actually want to achieve this, I'll tell a few people. I promise you, without even, like, thinking about it too much, it happens. 6 months down the line, it happens. So my strike rate is pretty good. Manifesting but taking action. Without taking action, it means nothing. But I guess manifesting, because you kind of speak something, put it out loud, and then your actions, being consistent with those actions, make those things happen. Yeah, my success rate is pretty spot on. But I'm not going to manifest anything right now before you ask.
You heard it. You're learning from one of the best in the UK or internationally. We've been saying this.
Yeah.
Well, Wales is a different country, so definitely internationally. Yes. So thank you very much for being here with us.
Thanks for having me.
For us to get in touch with you and use your services and learn more from you, we're obviously going to hit the Where's Shaz?
Where's Shaz?
What else?
Or you can add my company, which is on Instagram. It's at Elan, ELAN, Property Finance.
Okay.
I think that's the best way to start a conversation. If we then have to have a phone call or an email, we can always do it that way.
Okay. Any TikTok, any Facebook?
I'm on TikTok.
You are?
But at the moment, I'm reposting my Instagram videos.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think Instagram, I've clocked it. I understand how it works. I've got my audience, got my fan club. I get it.
Yeah.
TikTok, nothing makes
Not yet.
sense. Maybe I'm slightly too old. I don't get it. I'm not doing the dancing. I'm not doing the pointy videos.
I was hoping you could do something for us here.
Absolutely not. But yeah, TikTok, I'm on LinkedIn. But like LinkedIn's more for me, more of a professional network.
Yeah.
And Facebook is a war zone right now. But Instagram is the main thing. Add me, DM me. If I don't reply, wait, because I will.
You will definitely reply.
Yeah.
I know you because you're really good with the replying to your DMs, and I like that.
I'm responsive because look, if I don't reply, the way my inbox is, it'll get lost. The screens will go through. So most of the time, it's a 2-second reply. Yes, no, okay, thanks.
Yeah.
To put that, to say anything, I set my social media time and I'll reply to messages then. It's just for a 2-second message now.
To me, it distracts me if I do that.
Okay.
So I'd rather have a time when I'm easily distracted.
However, I know that my investor clients, they need an answer there and then. So they could be like, Shaz, I'm at an auction. I need to know this.
Aha.
So if I said, okay, I'll come back to you in an hour because it doesn't work.
No.
So I think it's about knowing your role within.
Yeah. And yeah, because that's also part of your job, isn't it? That's interesting. I think we're going to call you again for a part 2 because we need to dig more into how it works. Because I love going to auctions and I love knowing how things do work. I think we're going to definitely have a part 2 sometime, maybe next year.
Okay.
And when the company's grown and you've won from the nominations.
I'm going to win some awards, definitely.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. And what we're going to do, we're going to start doing something. I want you to ask a question to the next guest.
Oh, the next guest. Okay. So for the next guest, I would say, what is one quality that you have that is sometimes a burden and not a positive? So a bad quality.
Thank you so much. And I will definitely book my consultation with you.
Awesome.
Everyone, thank you very much for watching Diaries of Success. That was Hajar Bayaz. And that was Shaz from Where's Shaz? And we will see you in the next episode.
Ciao for now.